Good morning. Here we are. I believe it's December the 20th, a mere 5 days away from Christmas on this snowy southern Ontario Saturday morning. Curious title to this video, which is Clairtones and Covid. Obviously, Clairtones will be dealt with for the latest project that I'm doing, but COVID has also been a factor in that about 2.5 weeks ago, my partner and I were infected, and it was so serious that my partner was taken to hospital in an ambulance for emergency treatment because he collapsed on the bathroom floor, which was a scary situation. 5 hours plus in Emerge with various treatments applied, and he and I have both survived the experience. My symptoms weren't quite so severe, although 2 days later they did ramp up a bit. So we've been fighting recovery for quite a few weeks now. So at any rate, enough of this personal information, and we'll get right down to the reason for the video. In that promised a year ago, probably, that I would do a video on this S600, I believe is the series, Clairtone tube chassis. What I wanted to do in this video was go over some of the more interesting aspects of this huge and heavy stereo console from, I guess, 1962-ish. First of all let me grab the camera and make everything nice and jiggly. Okay. There's the back of the chassis. And one of the things that is impressive about this is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this chassis is the most unusual and most high-end of Clairtone units. It has 2 pairs of 6 BQ5s in push-pull, driven by a rather unusual set of inverters. And I forget exactly what their style is called. They're floating paraphase inverters, if I'm not mistaken. And like most tube consoles of the day, and Clairtones in particular, the front end for FM is very bare bones. It does have 2 separate stages of IF amplification, separate from the AM, an untuned RF section and a combination, converter, which is oscillator and converter in one section of this 6AQ8. Nothing special there. It's really designed for urban environments. Out here, its sensitivity will be limited. Nice layout, standard for Clairtone, in that they put the pairs to, actually it's pretty common for most. They put the pairs together with their inverter. Usually they put one on one side and one on the other side with the power transformer in the middle. Okay, I will get into other aspects of it. The front panel has been removed, and so therefore I don't know what these control switches do, other than they'll be all intermittent. It is filthy to the extreme. It does have an unusual feature in that the AM tuning and the FM tuning are completely separate. And that means it's really early on, where the first efforts to produce stereo FM or stereo sound through broadcast was done with one channel being broadcast on the FM dial and the other one on the AM dial. And so therefore you had to have a way of inaugurating or starting both AM and FM tuners and tuning them into the specific channels as designated at the time. I think it was called Multicast. I'm not sure. My memory serves me correct. At any rate, it died an early death in that the AM channel would be much inferior in quality sound to the FM. And so therefore, when the adoption by the American FCC of I believe it was the Zenith multiplex decoder unit, pretty well everybody put one of those on when it was high end. This one does not come equipped with it, although there are jacks at the top. If I can get that focused on that, to allow for an outboard multiplex. The other nice aspect of this, seeing as how I consider this to be extremely high end for Clairtone, is the output transformers there and there. For Clairtone, they're huge, and they should give a nice solid bass sound when it's all restored. Now, I have powered it up, and I do believe I had a video that showed it powered up. It has one channel working, the other channel is highly distorted, and that started cooking something underneath. I could smell something burning, so probably a coupling capacitor is bad. We'll get into that as I get going along. Standard situation of volume, bass, treble, and balance. The difference with the balance is that there are two controls there. And they're the last. The volume, bass, and treble are before the balance, and the balance goes into the power amplifier input of the 12AX7s in there. And that's basically all there is for the underside. You can see that there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh my goodness, 6, plus 2 capacitor banks in cans that are mounted up top. I found another one there that'll have to be changed. Some waxies, it's going to have a lot of capacitors changed. I will power it up as it is and try and show what it is, but I'll have to set up the cameras and get everything going and working to get this analyzed. And we'll analyze the output stage first. I might just show testing the 6BQ5s before I get started, okay? The other aspect of this, let me switch over if I can show boy, that's washed out. Okay, there is let me manually zoom in. There's the inverter stage I just described. The input, okay, from the previous stage goes in. Pardon me. And I think maybe what I'll do is make a copy of this and explain as I understand it later on in the video. And each plate is connected to one of the output tubes, the 6BQ5s. And it's quite unusual. They usually use what they call, here I go drifting again, concertina inverters. Well, where it's a splitter in effect, whereas the signal comes into the grid and the plate is inverted and fed out, and then the cathode is not inverted and fed out. This is a different configuration. Nothing more to show here. It does have the Gerard. Can I get everybody's attention over wherever it is? Where are we? There it is. There's the Type A that came out of it, and it's all been done up. Now, the unusual thing again for Clairtone is that it does have a tube preamp stage, and there is, where are we? There is the power supply for the filaments of the 12AX7 preamp stage, so it has a magnetic cartridge in it. That is unusual as well, too. So I consider this to be, if not the highest end of Clairtone's production for tube equipment, if it isn't that, then it's close to it. It should be quite the nice performer. The other thing is, in the cabinet, which I don't think I showed, It has some EMI speakers, and the woofers are unusual and high-end. High-end? No, they're just big. Here, we'll show the talking face again. They are probably 9 by 11, 9 by 12. I haven't measured them. They just have a standard cone, but the box is a sealed box, and it's ported, which means it's more capable, is that the term, of producing a solid bass without boominess than a standard speaker system, which just has an open back. I would like to be able to put a new surround on those woofers, but I will most likely fail in my attempts to find a surround of that size. I might just opt to replace the speakers with, say, 10-inch on a baffle board that's mounted in there, and then with the new speakers, they would have rubber surrounds, and they'd be capable of a much deeper bass. We'll see how far I go with it. The cabinet is out in the garage. It's in rough shape, and it's getting in poorer shape by having all this junk put on it in the last year. We'll get around to seeing what I want to do, put this whole unit back together. The problem that I have is that I've got about 3 or 4 consoles, and the biggest one is the Electro-Home. I'm not sure whether I've ever shown that, the Sierra, which has push-pull output tube and a new turntable and a tape deck added, and it's my go-to system for day-to-day use. I love that thing. I don't have the room for another 6-foot console to be put in here, and yet few people are interested in consoles because they take up a lot of room. So I think that I'm going to have a long thought before I spend my time rejuvenating the cabinet and reinstalling this. This unit as a standalone amplifier, tuner, or receiver might do well being put in a box and be sold as a component, part of a component system. For a tube system, it should give some very good high quality sound. All right, so for now, I will switch cameras and come back and hook up the unit. Maybe I'm not sure what I'll do. Anyway, I'm going to go away for a little while, a few minutes, and be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure how this is going to show. I've turned the tube tester on, and by the way, it is a Jackson. It's a Model 115. It's a much older version than the one I was used to using in the my first job as a technician. They had a much bigger, newer, and I would love to have one model, and I don't know exactly what model it was. At any rate, I got this one and I've serviced it, and it's a little rusty and crusty, but it does do the job. So first you need to use the roll index and find, where's the B's? Nope, going the wrong way. I need 6BQ5 because what I will do, 6BQ5s, there it is on that line. So it requires 6.3. Right now it's on 50. That's a no-no. That would blow the tube up pretty good. And the X circuit are these switches. So you need 2, 4, and 6. And the plate goes to 9, which is there. And the circuit is Y for testing, 5, and LPS, which is this, LP, and then that is the tester. Now, plug it in, let it warm up. Boy, everything is so dusty. I should clean everything up first. The one thing I didn't mention is that when you turn it on and warm it up, there is a switch here, as well as turning it on and off, selects the line tap. And in order to get an accurate reading, it has to be right on that middle part there. If you turn it different positions, it goes a little too high or it goes a little too low. Well, that's off. Okay. So we need the second position now. And of course, I've got a heater on in here. I apologize for the noise, but it's cold in my little shoppy here right now. Okay, it's plugged in. I can see it glowing. And so we got 6BQ5, L, P, and then you push S. Actually, before I do that, let me run it through the shorts test. And having it flash as you change it over from switch position means nothing. So then I press that, and I don't believe it. It's testing good. Yeah, it is. That's amazing. A good solid. Good. Right, almost in the middle of the range. All it needs is a good cleanup. All right, well, now I do have a set. I've got probably close to a dozen new 6BQ5s that came from Ukraine. I've been stocking up on tubes like 6BQ5, 6BM8, no 6AQ5, 6V6s, and 6GW8s, all from Ukraine, as far as I can recall. No shorts on that one either. Okay, let's see what this one. And we want S, and it's good too. These must have been replaced at some point. Let me see what they are. Claitone, England. I don't think that's what Clairtone used. They're all Claitone. So it's been serviced somewhere in the past and maybe not put into too much use since then. So I think there's, well, you've got two done. We'll see what the next two do. And it's glowing nicely. No shorts there. Whoop, no, there it is. These haven't had much use. They're just testing too doggone good to be original. And I cannot remember what Clairtone used for originals. There's a Rogers 12AX7, Rogers. So they used Rogers, I believe. So these are definitely replaced. All right, let's go through the shorts test. Okay, and S. And there it comes up. Not quite as good, but more than reasonable. Okay. So I can turn this off. Put the tubes back in. Maybe if I can move this around and put it up. And there. All right. Let's get the tubes put in. The one that I pulled out inadvertently. And they've got phenolic. Some of them are phenolic. Well, there's something I can show you. The FM tuning is seized. And if I can show this, pull this further down, there's the module that houses the 6AQ8, yes, and associated circuitry and the tuning gang. And it's got a double shield in this case on there. Now, the tuning gang is frozen. I can't turn it at all. I can force it a little, but the problem is that there needs to be 4 screws removed. Now, these ones I have access to. These ones are hidden underneath this panel. So I've got to have a very small screwdriver with a lot of torque, because it's probably like 60 years have never been opened. So that will be a problem. Okay, now I don't have any connectors for the speakers, which are the bottom two there. So I'll have to hook up, what have we got here? I'll have to put it into the light on things. All right, so where are we? Oh, that's easy. There's no switching between the main speakers, cabinet speakers, and the external speakers. So what do we got? We got that and that. Hook up to my test speakers. And this will be the other channel. What do we got? That and that. That should be in phase. Now, because I can't do much for the FM tuning, I'll put it on. What can I feed into it? Maybe I can put in my test amp signal. Let's see if we can't get something there. And we'll go for tape out. Okay. Now I have to figure out where the FM, AFC, aux, and phono. That should be phono. All right, I'll put it on dim bulb and fire it up. It's good and bright. If you can see my, where are we? Dim bulb. There it is, glowing. It looks much brighter in the camera than it does there. So that's the dim bulb. Okay. All right. Now we'll see if we've got any volume. If I've got the right one. 117. Well, guess what? That's the distorted channel, I believe. And the tubes are so dusty, I couldn't really see. All right. Back this fella off a bit. Actually, I'll turn it off for a second, and you'll pardon me if I have a slurp of coffee that's rapidly getting cold. And we'll see what we've got for grids. Pin 2. Get my bench motor hooked up. And see what we've got for. I'll put it back on dim bulb. And I said it was pin 2. Okay, back on dim bulb. The output tubes are there and there. That looks like it's got ceramic capacitors. Oh, it doesn't like dim bulb. Okay. And they're 470K. So that should be it, if I can see it. Nothing on that. Nothing on that. Nothing on that. No, puppy dog just came in for a little look. And nothing on that. All right. So whatever I smelt for something burning when I tried it out is not happening here. It's got a voltage doubler for power supply. All right, and they are 120. If I can just swing that over and show this. Okay. No fuse on this, I see. That's going to change. There's the voltage doubler, okay? That's a full wave voltage doubler. There's the output. There's the tap feeding the other, and the negative charging that one there. So it says 200 volts. 200, oh, I see, 200 and 200. So it should be 270 feeding the output transformers, which should be this. 287 at 117 volts input. Okay, well, it's all working except for this FM thing. Doesn't sound too bad. Controls are all scratchy. Oh boy. Thumpy thumpy. But you can tell by that interaction, the bass, if my microphone picks it up, it's quite... Okay. Well, I think the next step will be to start changing the capacitors. I'm not sure. Let me turn that off for now. Okay, I'm not sure what I want to do about this preamp situation. That'll all have to be checked too. Pardon me. Okay. Preamp, I've got a schematic of the preamp somewhere. There is the filament supply, which they very nicely put a DC supply in because it's very easy for magnetic cartridge tube preamps to pick up a hum. And somewhere there is a designation of the connections for the preamp. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, that little dotted line there. So that gives you the 12 volts rectified DC and a, back to there, 270. Okay, so it's really taken right from the main power supply, just with one filter section in there, a 270 ohm 5 watt resistor, and that goes for everything in the circuit except for the output transformer, or at least output tube, push-pull stage tube plates. Okay. Well, I was expecting some further problems, and it didn't happen. Okay. What can we do on camera? I don't know. There's no sense me showing me hacking apart capacitors and replacing them. There's an absolute plethora, pardon my comment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrolytics, 100 mic at 3 volts. What the heck for? Are they bypass? No, they say 25. Well, wait a second, that's 100 mic. I can't see some of the others. No, that's 100 mic. There's 25. Okay, those will be the... okay, let me swing this around. That and that will be the cathode bypass capacitors. Very modest, but the rest of them, I'm going to have to look at why there's so many. They look to be in the preamp stages. Oh, there they are. Okay. So you've got cathode bypass capacitors. There, 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 and there. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the sort of tone control circuit. It's a shame that with this amount of sophistication that they didn't put Baxendall, or otherwise known as feedback, whereas the, where are we here? Treble and bass, instead of having, in this case, the resistor to ground, and in this case, the capacitor to ground, what they do is they're fed back from this, and it becomes a more low distortion situation. All right, I better go away and line up some replacement capacitors, see what we can come back with. The replacement capacitors will be overrated and undersized compared with what was available for the 60s. So, and I'll clean the controls, and then we'll see about the FM. Okay, I'm going to go away and do that, and then when it's ready, I'll make part 2 with some further investigation. Okay, see you soon.